I really did not think I'd be talking about this topic again so quickly, but here we are. I really didn't think I'd be talking about it because I had really the basic bitch opinion on the movie, a very neutral take, a 6 out of 10. Whilst the world was tearing itself apart around me saying it's either the best movie since Infinity War or the worst movie since Captain Marvel, I was just in the middle there, floating along happily. Yeah, it's flawed, but I had fun, so I don't really care. Well, here we are, folks, because people can't stop being exceptional individuals about the Scarlet Witch. Did you guys know that it is both sexist to criticize Scarlet Witch, but also the movie itself is sexist for making her a crazy soccer mom? Well, wish me luck navigating this fucking minefield. The takeaway people have had from Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness has both been surprising and not at all surprising. It's weird when we get a badass new male character or villain, people go, huh, that's a cool villain, or that character's pretty cool. But when we get a new female character, and yes, I just mean any new female character, because by this point Disney's not going to introduce any female character who's less powerful than Thor, we get the reaction of, oh my god, Queen, slay! Female empowerment, smash the patriarchy! Well, I did mention it in my other review, but Wanda's fight against the Illuminati is pretty cringeworthy in some parts, and pretty good in other parts. The good parts are her fighting the female heroes. The cringy parts are her fighting the male heroes. So by this point, everyone already knows about the spaghetti meme or the what mouth meme, so I'm not as worried about spoilers, so I'm just going to go into it. Wanda killing Black Bolt is believable, but how easy it was kind of ruined the character of Black Bolt. Black Bolt has broken the moon in half with a scream in What If Planet Hulk. But when he screams in this movie, instead of ripping open the small flap of skin over where his mouth should be, vaporizing Wanda and half the planet in the process, he cracks his own skull. So yes, Wanda can kill Black Bolt in a fight. It's entirely believable. But is it believable the way they did it? Fuck no. In just the same way, Wanda killing Mr. Fantastic is not a stretch, do you get it, of the imagination. He's not a combat focused character, but it is important because it totally destroys her character. Wanda is the grieving mother character in this movie, it's her entire role, and seemingly what all these people are obsessed with. I'll get into it shortly about the whole mother thing, but her line of asking him if his wife is still alive because at least there'll be someone there to raise the children before she then tears them apart, as the Illuminati just kind of stand and watch, ruins her entire motivation in about 5 seconds. It also does seem massively unbelievable that the smartest man alive went into combat with Wanda without any preparation apart from, yeah, I'm just gonna stretch my arm at her. And yes, her killing Xavier is also ridiculous because she's a witch, not a psyker. He's an incredibly powerful psyker, and she's never even met a psyker before. So really, she shouldn't have had any chance. It's like if I beat up a ghost randomly and just said, well, I don't know, I'm really strong, so I can beat up ghosts. It doesn't really make fucking sense. But yes, her killing the male members of the Illuminati so easily is ridiculous. It does lower my score of the movie quite a lot, and every single time I think about it, it does slowly creep it down. I get what you wanted to do. You wanted to show female empowerment, but the fact that you did that kind of ruins the fight overall. The fight against the other two was absolutely fine. If you want to show her off as being the most badass person in the entire room, which she probably was based on power levels of the general comic book characters, maybe just have her fight all of them and win. It's not like fucking Mr. Stretch really could have done very much to her, and Black Bolt would have had his powers severely limited because he can't do it while his teammates are around. So you still could have made the fight work. So yes, we've gone through the general issues with that specific fight in the movie. Now we're going to get into some of the wee silly arguments I've seen on Twitter, and I'm going to be very hypocritical here by saying that who would win arguments are incredibly fucking lame. And I realize that because I just did one. But seriously, guys, we have people trying to compare, would Wanda beat Superman? Oh, well, if you saw her in this comic do this particular thing, then she should do this. What, oh, Superman is able to travel at exactly this speed per second? Oh, guys, seriously, just don't. It's a my dad could beat up your dad kind of argument, and I hope Americans understand that. It's incredibly cringe. Stop fucking doing it. It is so, so lame. But yes, that was just a wee setting the palette for some of the crazy, crazy ideas that we have here. Because there are people who are generally comparing Wanda to other characters in the MCU, and then claiming that we're only accepting these male characters doing these things because they're men, and we won't let Wanda do exactly the same things because we're all sexist and evil. Now, I hope you guys knew that. I'm learning a lot based on my experience on Twitter recently. But all I have to say is, if you honestly need someone to explain to you why Wanda is a different kettle of fish to fucking Bucky, you should get yourself checked. Wanda was a great character, as I mentioned in my review. But WandaVision ruined her, as I also mentioned in my review. She went from being a strong, powerful, compassionate main character who was a total fucking badass, to being a lunatic who was sad that her fucking Tamagotchi ran out of battery. Remember when you were a kid and had an imaginary friend? Yeah, if you shoot up a shopping mall tomorrow and say it's because Bibu, the fucking talking elephant, isn't real, you're not a good guy and it's not understandable that you did it. Wanda created two fake children in WandaVision and knew them for about 5 days before she had to shut down her fantasy world. You know that fantasy world where she had like thousands upon thousands of people trapped and were torturing them day in, day out. Yeah, so instead of her just creating a new fantasy world, which she definitely could have done because she's actually more powerful now than she was in WandaVision, she instead just decides to kind of murder everyone. For me, that would be the same thing as the only two alternatives I can really see. Honestly, from the number of simps that are online for it, I'm pretty sure she could have got some volunteers for her new world. Now, people will genuinely argue that she's been through a lot, so it's okay she did this, and it's understandable. Look, if this is the case, you need to be on a list somewhere if you think mass murder is okay if you feel a wee bit sad. People will repeatedly made the point as well that she has lost Vision. No, she hasn't. Vision's back alive. Just the MCU seems to have forgotten about it for this movie because he flew away at the end of WandaVision instead of talking to her, despite gaining all of actual Vision's memories. If your argument in any way hinges on she lost Vision, know that your argument is based entirely on not just a plot hole, but a fucking plot vortex. So, let's go through some of these comparisons. Bucky. Apparently you can't like Bucky and judge Wanda because Bucky's killed people too. You guys know Bucky. Remember Bucky, yeah? The brave American soldier who died fighting the Nazis and his body was recovered and he was resurrected and brainwashed by the very same Nazis and made into their assassin until he broke free from the conditioning and since then has been trying to make up for it. Yeah, that guy who didn't think he'd be worthy of becoming Captain America because of everything he's done, even though it really wasn't his choice at all. Bucky's body was taken without his consent and used to create a weapon. This is not a Darkhold situation where Wanda specifically decided to read the evil haunted book and then maybe possibly got affected by it, even though Doctor Strange has read it and he only got a third eye and he doesn't actually seem to have changed in any way or become evil or anything like that. And the next one is Tony Stark, and in my opinion, this isn't even a comparison. Yes, Tony Stark is an idiot sometimes. He's made a lot of stupid decisions, but he doesn't really go around trying to murder people. Arguably, the worst things he's done is create weapons that other people use to commit murders, but that's like saying if I sell you a gun and you shoot someone, that's on me. No, mate, it's on you. It's 100% on you. You're a free-willed human being. If you shoot someone, mate, I'm not taking any responsibility for that. The other bad thing he did was that he did try and kill Bucky, but the thing is, that's in response to him finding out right then and there that Bucky had killed his mom, which I understand a lot more than this because it's not weeks later. It's happening there and then at the time. It's a fit of rage. If he decided, I'm going to sit on this and plan and scheme to murder a 15-year-old girl, yeah, I'd probably be quite upset about Tony doing that. But, that's not really what happened because Tony didn't do that. Oh, Wanda did, though, when her favorite Pokemon died in her Nuzlocke playthrough. The next comparison is to Loki, and in my opinion, it's actually a silly comparison to make because Loki's been in since about the third movie. He's been in lots and lots of the movies. He's had major character arcs. Wanda, on the other hand, has been in about 2.5 movies where she really wasn't overly major in any of them, and then she had a shitty TV series, so it doesn't really feel like it's fair. Loki did a lot of bad things. He orchestrated an invasion of New York City and lots of people died. He worked directly under Thanos, who was the main villain. But at the same time, this was at the height of his arrogance and him feeling super special, wanting to be king, wanting to find power. And this was a direct result of him finding out his entire life was a lie. It was also then a tragedy that changed Loki for the better. Whilst Wanda, on the other hand, started off as a bad person, she then became good, and then because of a fake tragedy, she became literally Scarlet Hitler. Loki, however, changed for the better and is trying to make up for his mistakes because of that tragedy, and he's trying to rebuild his relationship with his brother and his father and everything like that to overcome what he himself did. Now, the redemptive arc of a character is always more popular than the ruination of a character, especially when the ruination of a character is for weak reasons. So, all I can say is, if you think Loki finding out his entire life was a lie, so he rebels, leading him to losing his father, losing his brother, his mother being murdered, his father then dies, him having to sacrifice himself to save his brother, is in any way close to, I accidentally formatted my porn folder, you are insane. And now for the big comparison, and probably the most obvious comparison. Hashtag Thanos did nothing wrong has now become hashtag Wanda did nothing wrong. Now, look, I'm sure just like with the old hashtag, a lot of people are joking, but looking at it, an unfortunate number of people do seem to be quite serious. Like, I don't remember when Thanos was popular, people were accusing you of being a misandrist or a purple alien hater if you didn't like Thanos, but if you don't like Wanda for any reason, then you're just a sexist. Look, Thanos was an out and out villain, and that's how he was introduced. They never pretended he wasn't a villain. His actions, however, were deliberate and focused on a singular goal, which in his mind was for the betterment of the entire universe. Thanos' life experience showed him that overpopulation was a real danger, and he saw what happened as a result of it. So he decided that instead of letting it get that far, he would snap away 50% of the universe's population. There'd be no pain, it'd be instant, and he thought that is mercy compared to letting the universe get overpopulated, where everyone would then fight over the limited amount of resources, and more than likely more than 50% of people would die. The thing is, there is logic to his argument. It doesn't mean it's the right argument, but there is still logic at least behind it. It's the whole tram car issue of do you pull the lever to save 5 people or do you let 7 get hit? He chose the 5. So there is some logic to it. Now, it was clear that was his goal. Even afterwards, he snapped away the Infinity Stone so no one else would be tempted by the power again, and nothing really sums up his conviction more than this scene. So at least I can understand when people say hashtag Thanos did nothing wrong and can't understand it when people say hashtag Wanda did nothing wrong. Because with Thanos, there's an underlying logic behind the whole thing when he's trying to quote unquote save the universe, and you can kind of get behind him or argue the point against him. There's a discussion to have there. You could say, well, I believe his logic is flawed. Oh, but I believe his logic is okay, but he did it in the wrong way. There's actually a discussion there, and it's an interesting discussion to have, and it's one of the reasons why it became so popular on Twitter, is people could go back and forth on the whole thing on the merit of saving 50% of the population now, or letting us go on and then killing 90% of us further down the line when overpopulation hits. So at least it's a wee bit interesting. Now, Wanda doesn't really have that because Wanda is upset that her copy of Nintendogs went through the fucking washing machine and her boyfriend went on a business trip. So she decided in response to that she was going to kill a 15-year-old girl so she could force herself into another dimension to then murder herself and steal her own children and then keep doing this if she ever finds any defects with those children. And you know, if you try and stop her, you're a bad person and she will murder you. Now then, after all that, I don't really feel I need to hammer on the point that these are not the same moral positions to have. Because if you genuinely believe that I want to kill everyone because my Animal Crossing account got hacked is the same as overpopulation will kill all of us unless I fix it, you have some issues there, my friend. But, you know, there are also people upset saying that if people had just been nice to Wanda after she lost Vision, this wouldn't have happened. Okay, well, firstly, Marvel made sure to show that she didn't actually lose Vision, and the other problem is everyone was nice to Wanda. Like, unnaturally nice. The one person who wasn't and didn't like her and was up for the idea of killing her, you know, the evil white boss man from WandaVision, he got arrested and was made out to be the worst person in the entire series. Like everyone else repeatedly told her how great she was despite her torturing thousands of people for a week. The worst she got from the townsfolk was they glared at her a wee bit when she was walking out. But don't worry, very quickly Monica ran in to say, oh, hey, you sacrificed so much for them. You're a hero. And look, I'm going to speak with you frankly here. If you hand on heart believe that she sacrificed for the MCU and was pushed into this, not because of her choices, but because of the choices of the people around her, then I'm going to have to tell you you are factually wrong and you're very uncreative if you think this is the only possible end game for the whole situation. Are you telling me this woman, who is incredibly fucking powerful, couldn't have sent a tweet to America Chavez in one of the other universes? Somehow she was able to look through the multiverses and find this one person and then send demons after her, but apparently she couldn't send her a message in the bottle to say, hey there, I forgot to feed my 2 goldfish. Can you send me to a universe where my 2 goldfish are still fucking alive? Just pick a universe where she died and the 2 kids are still alive. I'm sure they're out there. Then you wouldn't have had to kill anyone and it all would have worked out fine for you. Wanda is an incredibly overpowered character. Are you telling me that she couldn't have just go, you know what, time out. I'm going to take a week here and think up a spell that lets me jump between the universes. Hell, the Doctor Strange in the Illuminati universe was able to observe the multiverse and categorize and name all the different universes, apparently. He was also able to create a doorway that led to a halfway universe. but then apparently couldn't create another door that went to a different universe from that halfway universe. Wanda's way more powerful than him. Are you telling me that Wanda couldn't have done that when he was able to do that much? Look, I want to slow down here for just a wee second because I'm genuinely concerned what relationship you have with your own mother or your own kids. If you honestly think this woman's being a good mother to these two houseplants that she forgot to water, yes, I am running out of these comparisons because these are fucking fake children that for some reason people think are a good enough justification to become a mass murderer. Like, are you serious? Scarlet Witch was a good character, but at no point in this movie did I feel sorry for her, just like all these people seem to have. I don't know, at no point in this movie did I want her to succeed in any of her goals. Maybe I'm. Fuck, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not big on psychopaths murdering children so they can steal their powers to abduct more children. Hell, I, I'm a square. I didn't even celebrate her killing the Illuminati. It's almost like the first half of that fight was so bad that it kind of ruined the second half because it made Wanda's power level change dramatically depending on what character she was fighting, and that kind of takes away all tension from the scene. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But it's weird. I think back to Thanos killing Loki and killing Vision. I just don't remember anyone being like, ha 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 ha, yes, look at you, you're fucking dead. Ha ha, he killed the shit out of you. He could kill anyone he wants to. I don't know. It's weird. It's almost like they're doing that for Wanda, but only when she kills men. And I don't know how that makes me feel. Maybe that you're fucking nuts and you clearly have daddy issues if you enjoy men getting killed on screen that fucking much, you weirdo. I don't know. It reminds me of Red Dead Redemption 2 when people were going around punching feminists. But, I'm pretty sure that bit was a joke and people were just being goofy. If you really enjoy seeing a woman kill a man on screen that much, either you have massive daddy issues or you got a really fucked up fetish, my dude. But no, they had to ruin her. They had to ruin Scarlet Witch, who was actually probably one of my favorite female characters in the MCU. She was a badass. She was strong. She was kind of cool. She was mysterious. She was interesting. Her relationship with Vision was actually quite cool. But no, they ruined it. All because of WandaVision. All because her new boyfriend decided to fly away for no reason. All because her old boyfriend decided to not tell her about her new boyfriend for no reason. And all because she forgot to set up smoke alarms in The Sims, so her entire house burnt to the ground. Tragedy. Have a good one, folks. Bye bye.